What's going on, everybody? Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we have exactly, it's crazy how it worked out like this, $1,000 of ancient, medieval, and sort of Renaissance era coins to unbox, but there's also a bunch of jetons in this group. There's some random world stuff, including some seals from whether it's Byzantine or older, or England, or just Europe in general. Then we have all these weights also from the Byzantine era, but I think there's a tetradrachm in there somewhere. So it's sort of a wild group. I think I might have overspent for some of it, but I also didn't have any weights in my coin and related item collection. I didn't have any seals, so given that I always keep stuff out of what I buy, I figured that it would work well to just sort of spend the money and see what I can come away with, what I like. But we'll start going through this stuff. Again, it's like $997, so I'm just going to call it $1,000. And maybe we'll start. These are the last jetons that I have. So we'll start with those and work our way through the rest of it. And we'll start, there's sort of two different groups within this. So this was one, and this was the other. These were purchased from an old auction in 1994. But we've got 4 alphabet jetons, and I want to explain what those are. But I spent a lot more on these than I did on the other ones, just because I thought that they're really unique and cool. I'm going to zoom in a bit here, but that's upside down. Right here, we have a man. I can't tell. I think that he's using the jeton maybe on a counting board. But the cool thing is that it features all of the letters on it, which at this point, not everybody was totally familiar with all of them. So you have everything. The only cool thing is that they have the V instead of the U, because we would sort of interchangeably use, if you see on the peace dollar, it says trust, but it's like TRVST. That's just our spelling for U. But can run through the entirety of the alphabet. And then on this side, again, we have that man at the table, I believe, in a counting board position. I also could be wrong about what that art represents, but I just think that it's pretty neat. We've got another similar one here, man at a table counting up, but then on this side, we have, again, just a very elegant, I think that these are probably from around mid-1500s, so they're just higher end pieces of world history, world numismatics, and I forget exactly what I paid for these, but I think it was like $40 each. And we've got, that one looks like 1555 as a year. HJLH, that could be the person who made the jeton. And then again, we have what looks like somebody at the table, but this one's a bit worn as well. People just literacy was very low at this point. Most people probably did not know how to leave. Let's see what this is. Nuremberg, Reis, something, jeton, but really, really cool. This one looks nice, good detail. You can still see the beard and the mustache and everything. And wow, that's a very clear alphabet. Let's see on what it says on the outside. Macht, richtig, and then HIK. I don't know exactly all with that, but Rechnung macht, I don't know. This sort of German. Nuremberg was Germany, but they also produced a lot of jetons for France. But those are the 4 alphabet jetons, probably the most on by far, or not by far, but solidly the most expensive per item listing that I purchased here. Maybe we can. Well, we'll do all of these jetons, and then we'll move over. I'll do these relatively quickly. This one's from 1632, brass, King Louis the 13th. So it's a bit earlier, and we've got sort of 2 flowers as a scene. So that's pretty interesting. And I'm just going to put all of these in the back to the side. 1577, that could be pretty good. Anytime, and it is really nice. 4 horsemen. Anytime they're dated, I find that the quality is generally pretty high, all the way back to King Henry III. But that really reminds me of some of the Greek designs in terms of having the horses, almost like with a chariot is often how they're shown. I see this one says 1570 on it, which is great. And we've got what looks like an arm coming down with a sword, which is a bit ominous. But King Charles the Ninth On this side, it looks like a spear going through some birds. So an interesting presentation, but it's a crazy piece of history, and they had different imagery probably 450 plus years ago than they do today. So right here we've got, it says circa 1612 brass jeton, and this one's in pretty nice condition. And that looks like what does that say? Cara deo Sobolo, the child's head. Yes, exactly. So 1610, King Louis the 13th seems to run from 1610 to 1643. So circa 1612 probably refers, because it's such a young portrait of King Louis. So you can assume that it would be really towards the beginning of his reign. Here we see something that was likely from 1610 to 1632, but without a date, from Nuremberg. Some of those jetons, actually this one looks pretty nice. I often like the non-Nuremberg jeton because they feel a little bit higher quality, but this one actually has a cool look to it, and a lot of detail in the letters, and then a nice portrait on horseback. So fun. And it's also nice to have them, like, this is the last of a collection of jetons that I purchased from. This one from 1610 to 1643 may be a similar portrait, a little bit older actually, going to be of King Louis the 13th, but again, I'm sort of on the hunt for cool designs here. This one looks pretty cool. 1554 is great. We got the 4 H's, Chambre des Comptes du Roi, so one of the king's sort of like there's a chamber of commerce, so similar, probably like something of their, monitoring their affairs, but 1556, to have it specifically dated, I always think that carries a lot of weight. Another Louis jeton. Ooh, that one's a great portrait on horseback. Interesting effect right there, but I really like, I'm not sure what's on the horse's head, but also holding a fleur-de-lis, and then a lot of elaborate clothing on that one, but an interesting sort of tone pattern over time, or metal surface quality, whatever you want to call it. This one also going to be from Konrad Laufer. I recognize Hans Laufer. I haven't seen any of Konrad's works, or at least I can't think of any in my mind, but looks like a very nice portrait there of King Louis the 13th, probably from 1637 to 1643 in that case. So a small window when that could have been minted. And I think that there were 24 total non-alphabet jetons here, and that one, check that out, 1641, with a cool sort of snake around an anchor, a dragon around an anchor. Nicer King Louis the 13th. And it says it's that they're claiming that that's a dolphin. Well, I mean, it could be a dolphin, some sort of aquatic seafaring creature, though that doesn't, today's maybe the connotations of dolphins were different back then. This one is a nice and shiny 1619 apparently. Let's see if we can see where that's from. It says Ludovicus the 13th friend at Nav Rex L. Let's see, where's the 16? Oh, there it is. Sort of in the more traditional date format. Gratum quo sospite quellum. Huh. I have not seen any jeton with the year under the portrait like that, so that's pretty interesting. This one a bit worn here, around 16, less specific, but very focused on maintaining their connection to Navarre, the Spanish contested region that they had domain over at some point. This one reminds me of like a double tournoi. It says from 1626, but also King Louis the 13th. These also, one thing that I do like about them is that they're older. So the group, I believe, was from Henry II to Louis the 13th, and you get some interesting designs. This one's super cool. I don't know if that's damage or some sort of planchet flaw, but star in the sun plus the crown. Fascinating. 1615, which is cool. Let's see. 1615 again. This one's Louis the 13th. Interesting. 1615. I don't know if that, what the thing is. Let's see if that says Wolflaufer. What is it? Bust with I can't tell if somebody's dropping like a bomb or some sort of plague on the city, or if it's more positive than that. What an interesting effect on this jeton. I mean, it's hold, but like the design stands out as being more intricate and interesting, or maybe God's either judgment or provenance, or like provision. Fascinating. I mean, I'd be interested in, is that hole put there 400 years ago by a kid who saw the jeton, or was that made 200 years ago? It certainly wasn't made by a collector, but or a modern collector. Here's a nice portrait of Louis the 13th, and the Nil Nisi Concilio is a more common theme in the jeton, but I hadn't seen interesting, with facial hair portrait like that one. Whoa. This could be an interesting design based off of, so it says 1604, and whoa, yeah, we've got charging Henry the Fourth with a sword on a horse in the Hans Krawinckel, HK on the bottom. That's a good jeton, really like it. Let's see what this one's going to be. Also similar early young head gotcha. Not a standout one, but I'm only going a bit faster since I know it's a pretty long unboxing today, actually, but I figure it's cool to get all this history packed into a video like this, and I enjoy making it. This one has some interesting like tooling marks. It says Arms of France and Navarre, but it's less linked to a king, and yeah, I mean, very historic coin there, piece of history as well. This one, it says it's sourced newer for this collector, and it is an interesting, I think that's just for Louis crowned L for Louis, 1641, but a different design than most of the ones I've seen. You can see a little bit of like a sun, some cornucopia around the L, which is great. How many more of these? It looks like we don't have a ton more. And as a function of these being a bit older, you don't get the crazy luster ones, but you get some very historic ones. I always think these is from Burgundy, apparently, but 1634 with all the arrows. Comitia Burgundia. Okay, that's how we can figure out exactly what it is. Glad to, get the clarity there. And then, ooh, that is an awesome design. 1627 looks like some dogs prancing around with the sea in the background, allegorical scene, yep, and an interesting sort of crest there. So, continuing along here, what else do we have? We've got Louis the 13th copper jeton. Okay, another similar, not crazy look to it, but still fun history. And then our last one, it says 1600 on it as the year. Let's see what this looks like. Wow, okay. Crowned globe, Arms of France, Numero stunt omnia certo. And I wouldn't have known that was a globe, but good to know. And what does that say? Subdu seratio. I don't know what that's for, but that seems to be a better comparatively jeton. Let's move on here to this group, which was, I want to say it was mostly weights from the Byzantine Empire, but there were some other things included, whether it was a seal. I still don't know exactly, it's a Byzantine weight, but what exactly is it? Or like how to authenticate, you see what looks like a cross there. And, here carved in HIB, but I don't know if that was carved in recently or presumably, or no, I don't even think that's a HIB. I think it's like 3 or just like a marking like that, but cool to have that level of history. And presumably these are weights that were used 800, 900 years ago. More weights over on this side with some interesting carvings. And, ooh, what on earth is this? Let's see. Does it say? It says EAB, so I do not know what that is. Could be like a seal of some sort, or like a die, because it looks like it has the outline of a person in it. I don't think it's a die, but maybe maybe it is. I'm not sure. And then I don't know what this is here. Oh, this looks like the inverse image. Oh, wow. That complicates the picture in a cool way. Well, like, let's see. Maybe that's what you can make if you, like, get clay. Oh, that could be a cool video. If I could, like, find some similar clay here. And that's what you can produce with this. So it is sort of like a die or inverted thing of sorts. That's awesome. Wow. I need to learn more about this. If you know more about what this is, please tell me. Because it seems cool. And if I can get a bunch of putty, I feel like I would make a lot of these. Because that would be pretty cool, too. Just for the cool factor. Which I think is important in coin collecting. Like, I like stuff because it's cool often. And that's sort of the end of the story. Here's another. These look like maybe seals from the Byzantine times. But I'm not, again, totally sure what I'm looking at. Yeah, interesting. After that, this says it's a Roman scale weight. Let's see. Purchased with a knob for lifting. Wow. Go like that. Super cool. I mean, the place I bought this from is very reputable, so I have no issues. This is another ancient Roman coin weight. Fascinating. I mean, it makes sense because they didn't have scales, so you'd have to be able to weigh, make sure that people's coins were, up to the weight standard that you specified. Same thing there, either Byzantine or Roman. This is interesting. It looks like a broken tetradrachm of sorts. I don't know. I mean, I feel like even if you glued it back together, like, I would think that there would be some solid. It's like a hold coin or something. It could be a really affordable piece of, like, owning a tetradrachm, which probably is normally like, I don't even know, maybe 80, $100, and instead this is like 50. I could see it being more for, fully put together of whatever this is. I'm not going to open it just because I don't want it to fall out everywhere. What does that say? Let's see. Lot 60. I don't know. Again, don't know too much. Lead seals, though. Okay, that makes sense. So these are like... Oh, maybe what we're looking at is you could, like... Yeah, those seals, you could just put the inverse of it. And then what is this? This sort of looks like... just sort of like a Roman coin from the late or mid 4th century. I recognize that face quite a bit. Or maybe it's a seal, but it kind of looks like... I'm not sure. I can't tell if that's like Og or Constantineous. I can't tell. But if somebody knows, because it feels thicker than most of the coins that I see like that. I don't know. I think I might have overpaid for some of that lot. But it was, yeah, that's the issue with buying stuff for the cool factor, is then you pay too much for stuff that you think is cool. And then you have cool stuff, but not stuff that's actually worth it. Let's see. So this one is in English. Oh, it fell out of the... And Baldwin is a reasonably well-known auction house. But it says it's from St. William. From about the 14th or 15th century. Hand of God over wreathed head. Will Mi Capellani. Huh. Very cool. So another seal. And you can see where it fits in nicely. But I want to leave that intact. I don't know how old the wax is. Probably not super old, but it's probably just been contemporarily done. But could see that being an artifact that people would really find interesting. Let's see what this from Pegasi. This is a lead seal from Vilcini. Interesting. 16th century lead seal. Huh. EIN, ein, and then over here, some sort of a, like lion figure. What is this one? This is elaborate. This one, check that out. A lot of depth to that. IMX, that doesn't help me too much. But, I mean, it's a really serious seal. I almost want to use it. But also, yeah, I don't know if, like, it's custom to use this stuff or not. This is the lead bulla. I don't know exactly what that means, but again, from Pegasi coins. Obverse is a line of St. Mark, and reverse has a legend. Let's see the line of St. Mark, because I know that's on a lot of the German Jetons as well. This one, for 35 pounds, St. George and a dragon, late medieval, 15 to 1600s. Let's see, we can, it looks like there's must be St. George. It looks more like that's a horse and he's fighting a dragon. But a higher end seal, it seems. And then over here, that thing is, wow. Look at that. That is a piece of seal, if I've ever seen one. Doesn't say exactly what it is. This is de Nantes. And look how thick this is. I don't know if it was like attached to something here where then they could like stamp with it. But it's like a real chunky piece of history, I would say. So neat. Wow. Huh. And then our last of today is this, which also appears to be some sort of a medieval seal. Not exactly sure the details on it. Again, I bought this not really knowing it. And the issue here is I don't exactly know how I'll learn about it then. Like, I don't know how to learn about some of this stuff. But if you're familiar with seals, I'd be curious to see any intel you have on all this stuff. I particularly like this thing. What does it even say? Entret de Nantes. Something en Tresseau or en transit. Well, that does it for today. I'm getting tired, but I did have a ton of fun doing this. And especially really like these alphabet jetons. But I thought it was a good haul. $1,000, lots of history in front of us. And I look forward to seeing you in the future as I continue to buy materials and stock, whether it's my auctions or my collection or my inventory I bring to coin shows. Thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to visit our website, treasuretown.com, to stay up to date on everything going on the channel and possibly get some great deals on coins and collectibles. We look forward to seeing you on our future videos, and best wishes until then.